Welcome to the Art of Selling Art. My name is Jason, and this is a blockchain through NFT 101 through 201 webinar that I gave to members of the Art of Selling Art. Now, the Art of Selling Art is a business course for artists, and you can find out more about that below. But this part, the NFT community, I feel is something that supports each other in a very dynamic and strong way, because we want to raise the boat, raise the tide for all artists. So I figured I would put this on YouTube for everybody to enjoy. And no lie, quoting someone else here, this is possibly the best primer on NFTs that he's ever seen. And what that is, or how I made this, was by doing a bunch of research and spending a lot of time talking to artists and putting my own work on blockchain and finding out what is what. Like, what is blockchain, all the way through how NFTs work and how do you mint your first NFT. And we're going to go over all those things in this webinar in the next 2 hours-ish. It's a little bit less. So I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're ready to get on this train, because the virtual world, the NFT market, and the blockchain world is coming. And anybody who is jumping on this train in 2021 is going to be at the very, very tip of the sword, the very, very tip of breaching this market. And all of the collectors, the entire art market is going to expand. It's not going to give up the physical world, but it's going to expand into this blockchain NFT realm. And anybody who is here now, establishing a presence now, is going to have a huge leg up on anyone else coming into the market after that. So you are not too late. It is not too late to learn, and it is definitely time now to get started. So follow along, take notes, and get your work on blockchain. Okay, cheers guys, see you. All right. Now, okay, so we did intros and we did housekeeping, guys. This is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what is blockchain, what is Ethereum, and then what is an NFT, right? And you need to understand blockchain at a higher level before you can understand Ethereum and then NFTs. And these are pretty much all the questions that I've seen asked and had to speak on in the past. So we're going to go over all of this stuff, and then we're going to get started. And we're going to talk about what platforms to use, what is a wallet and how does it work? And then we're going to talk about a little bit of the technical stuff for hashes and chains and what it means to have your artwork on blockchain. Because I know a lot of you are concerned about your intellectual property and theft and things like that. Afterward, we're going to do a live minting, okay? I'm going to mint, I think, I'm going to mint either this piece on OpenSea, or I'm going to mint this one live with you guys so you can see the entire process. All right. I had a lot of inputs coming at the moment. Okay. So one of those two I'm going to mint. And then we're going to talk about, how to price it, and then auctions, doing auctions versus posts. And then after that, we're going to talk about marketing, self-promotion, and then we'll go into the Q&A. All right, if that sounds cool to everyone, spam 1 in the comments and I'll get started. Oh yeah, it gets a lot more interesting for me, guys, if you guys participate. If I move this, okay, cool. I need to make this screen smaller on my computer so I can make this. Amy, are you, is your hand raised for a reason?
No, you'd asked me to raise my hand to find me.
Yeah. So. I don't get sassy. Okay. So what is blockchain? Blockchain is, at the most basic level, it is a decentralized ledger, where a ledger is something that keeps track of transactions. And in the case of Bitcoin, we're talking about transactions of Bitcoin as a form of a currency. Okay, and this ledger is decentralized. Okay, so what does decentralized mean? And again, like I said, guys, I'm going from the bottom up. Jen, did you have something?
No, I was trying to talk to my son without making noise.
Oh, okay. I see you pointing at me and I'm like, what's going on? Okay, so we have decentralization, all right, and then we have centralization, okay? And you guys have probably noticed that I'm gonna get tired of writing, so I'm just gonna scribble, right? On this side, this is what you're used to when you think about banks, okay? When a bank does a transaction, or when you do a transaction with your credit card, all of the information goes to a single spot, or most likely, like realistically, there's caches of computing power around the country that verifies your transactions. Okay, so the amount of money you spend, where you spent it, the person who you spent it on, and so on and so forth. Okay, all of that happens in one place. It all also happens under one authority. This guy saying hi, right? So either that's the CEO of the bank, or the committee, or the board of directors, right? That's the people who manage this central thing, because everything under a centralized ledger system, transaction system, is in one place. I don't know a synonym for the word centralized. In a decentralized ledger, when you do your transaction, instead of being verified by a bank of computers like these guys, it's going to be verified by people all over the world who are doing a thing called mining, okay? And what is mining is basically the process of verifying each transaction that happens, okay? So your transactions are verified by people all over. And this means that there is no central board of directors. There is no central authority, okay? And there's a lot less risk, okay? So one of the things that can happen to a centralized ledger system is it can be hacked, or it can be mismanaged, or it can be led by a bunch of assholes, okay? Like Wall Street or whatever. In decentralized, there's none of these people don't exist. They're not there. So once the blockchain is basically a big contract, and everyone is operating on the contract, and everyone is operating on the same rules, and there's no way to manipulate it. There's no way to change what happens on blockchain. That's the other thing. When this stuff is verified by so many different places, when you do a transaction on blockchain, you'll see, if you want to go look, how many times your transaction is verified. And a lot of times through stuff like proof of stake or proof of work, all of these separate computing places are verifying your transaction. So if I buy something with Bitcoin, or if I send Amy a piece of art to her wallet, 47 different computers are going to say this really happened. And because of that, it's immutable. Because of all this verification, and every verification goes into a block. Okay, this is why it's called blockchain. Each one of these verifications go into a block, and then all these blocks are chained together. Okay, these blocks, they don't go away. They never go away. This is why things are immutable, and this is why NFTs are really cool. And we'll get into that in a minute. So Bitcoin, I'll change colors because I'm bored. Bitcoin is a decentralized, there's a limited number of blocks available on Bitcoin. So it's a decentralized chain with scarcity. And all Bitcoin does is represent financial transactions. All right, so therefore, that's why people use it for the monies. Hold on a second, I just want to make sure I'm not missing. Okay, so Swan's not coming, so I don't have to look anymore. So that's what Bitcoin does. Bitcoin is a contract, one of these things, but it has a limited amount of functionality. basically all you can use it for is money. Okay, that's why we have Ethereum. Ethereum has all of this stuff that we talked about. It's decentralized, and the risk of stuff being messed up or anything like that is not there, okay? But it also has the ability to do smart contracts. And a smart contract is basically a contract that can't be changed. Once you set it, it goes into the blockchain, it's verified by all the people, and then it's there, okay? And it's not going to ever be changed. So if all these companies are using smart contracts to operate their businesses, because once it's set, it's good to go, and then there's no risk of it being changed and whatnot. So I just realized there's 13 comments that I haven't got to. Okay. So when you add smart contracts to that, you have all of these businesses using the blockchain, but then you can also do a thing called an NFT. So an NFT is a non-fungible token. Okay. And try to think of NFTs like playing cards, whereas Bitcoin is like money, or Ethereum is like money. When I do a transaction and I give Rachel Wood a Bitcoin, she's got money, right? She's got something that represents money. And then she can do another transaction that lends that Bitcoin to someone else, just like exchanging dollars, okay? No one cares who had that dollar before you. It doesn't matter, because there's a huge amount of them, and none of them are individual. An NFT is like a playing card. There's only one. Okay, there's only one NFT. So if I exchange hands with Marty, my NFT, and he exchanges hands with someone else, they are exchanging the exact thing again and again. So the scarcity of it is what makes it valuable. By non-fungible means that you cannot exchange it for anything else. You cannot break it down into little bits of NFTs, just like you can take a Bitcoin and separate it into a Satoshi, but you can't take an NFT and make it into 3 or 4 or 10 NFTs. There's only the one thing. And that's kind of at the top level what an NFT is. So when you do your artwork on the chain, on the blockchain, what you are doing is you're creating a non-fungible token, a non-repeatable, non-replicatable mark on the blockchain that represents your art, right? How are we doing on Facebook comments, Jen?
So far, nothing.
Okay, cool. So non-fungible token. Okay. I'm going to be scrolling up and down a bit, guys. So dollars versus trading cards. So who is this for, right? Anybody in any company can make a non-fungible token. It's at its base, it's a contract that says this thing represents this piece of art. And for artists, this is for you guys. So you can put a piece of art on the blockchain and it'll represent your work and never be able to change. And the value you put to it is whatever you want, and we'll go over that in a little bit, but it has a collectability because it's like a playing card. It's a limited, scarce item. So if you want to maintain the integrity of your editions and keep things tight, then this guy's for you. So you can sell work on the blockchain. Why do people buy work on the blockchain? Why is art on a blockchain a thing? Okay, art on the blockchain there's this thing called the metaverse. And I'm talking for people who have no idea what the hell is going on. So bear with me if we're going a little bit slow. But the digital world is going to become something parallel to the real world. And what's going to happen, and what is happening, is that people are I'm gonna pin another person here, is that owning digital artwork is a new way for collectors to be able to buy art and decorate their virtual spaces when they couldn't do it before. And they couldn't do it before because they don't have any room. Like if you were in my home right now, there is one wall in my whole house that doesn't have a piece of art. I can't buy more art, and neither can a lot of these collectors. So people are interested in NFT art because it allows them to participate in the art community, and it allows them to have things. Like people like having things. That's why people collect stuff. And since the digital world is becoming so real, becoming so tangible, people are seeing buying art as in the digital world as a real thing that there's going to be a future for. You can think of it as people playing video games. So you guys play video games on your phone or actual video games in your Oculus or your PlayStation. And inside that video game, you can buy stuff. And then when you buy it, you own it. So you can buy a new sword, or you can buy some sort of power up, or if you're one of those people who do those interior design games, you can buy furniture to put into the space that you're building in the game. You're already primed for this new world. You're already primed for having a virtual digital space and putting stuff in it. Now with blockchain, you can put stuff in your virtual world, and then you could sell it to other people when you don't want it anymore. So the other reason that people are buying or investing in art is because they are investing in the artists themselves. And what they're speculating on is that the value of that work is going to increase, so that they can buy my work now and then sell it when the market becomes even bigger and people want my work for more money. So why would someone buy, and who is buying this stuff? There's a lot of people who have a ton of Ethereum, like an unbelievable amount of Ethereum. People who started way back in the day buying Ethereum have tens of thousands of Ethereum coins or tokens, and nothing to do with it. Because if you exchange it for money, for real world fiat, you incur taxes, right? Does that make sense? So there's no place for people to take money out without losing some of that value. So here is the beginning of an ecosystem in which they can get value for their tokens. And a lot of these people just love art. And now there's this new way to support the art world. And art's not the only NFT, right? So I'm buying property in a world called Superworld. And there's a lot to it, but basically I'm owning a piece of property and I'm buying up really popular spaces. Like I bought the Seattle Ferris wheel, and I'm hoping that someone is just going to want to own it for themselves, either for the nostalgic value or for the commercial value of working in that digital space and having something up like advertisements or what have you. So I'm hoping to sell it in the future. So NFTs apply to a lot more. You can do an NFT of the deed to a house, and you can do an NFT for tickets to a concert, because each one is individual and non-replicatable and will always have a way to track it to the source. So here, let me see if I can. I don't think that needs to be drawn out for you guys. So does that make sense to everyone so far? Jen, Amy, Kat, is that making sense?
Yes.
All right. So I know I'm being basic, but I'm trying to stay up because this is the intersection of tech and art. And I know there's going to be people like Ted, Jen in our group who's going to look at this and just be like, I can't do it, right? But I think that you can do it. You can understand this if we just go a little bit slower. So what does the future for NFTs look like? That's the next thing on my list. I imagine that the virtual and augmented world is going to live side by side, just like in a sci-fi movie. So I can sit in my home, and this is what real collectors are imagining. They can sit in my home, I could put on a pair of AR glasses and enjoy a digital experience from a piece of art. And I can overlay my whole house with a whole nother house on the inside. Excuse me. That's been waiting to come for like 5 minutes. No, I don't think you can sell a service as an NFT, Rebecca. You're selling a single item that is only exists for one purpose. Your service, you'd be compensated for whatever you're doing. That would be in the form of money. He might ask, so if I sell someone my NFTs, does this mean they own the rights? So we'll get to that in a little bit. Kyle says, I have sold a photo as an NFT, congrats. Can I sell the same photo NFT again? That depends on how you put it. That depends on the contract you created when you created the NFT. So if you created the NFT as a multiple, like an addition of 10 or what have you, then you have 10 of them to sell. You technically could upload that piece again and then put a price on it and sell it. But now you're hurting your reputation because somebody bought that NFT based on the scarcity that you said it had. So right now I have Tree of Fire on auction on Foundation. It's an addition of 1. If I go to somewhere else and I put it up again, that's going to really piss off whoever bought that first piece. And it's also going to ruin my reputation as an artist, and people may not want to buy stuff from me in the future. Can the buyer print from the NFT? No. Can the buyer print from your Facebook page or from your Instagram page? Yeah, they can screenshot it and print it. But the thing about an NFT is that it's a contract that lives on the blockchain. It's been verified by all these people. Every time it changes hands, it verifies by all these people. And its history can be tracked all the way back the chain to its inception. So if someone puts your artwork up, but you have proof that you uploaded it first and that it's yours, then they can't have it, right? No one's going to buy that because you're going to show proof that it's yours. And then you can go to law, you can take them to the court and all that stuff without having to really fight about the details, because it's all immutable on the blockchain. So can someone print your stuff? They could screenshot it and print it just like they can screenshot it and print it from any other website in the world. The difference now with blockchain is it can have a new origin where your artwork starts. All right. So what does, so yeah, that's my new thing. That's actually the next point on my thing for Hamat. Who owns the intellectual property? You still own the intellectual property for your art. That's law, that understanding of the value of what you are putting into the market hasn't changed. So you still own the intellectual property. All they're buying is a hash on the blockchain. And I'll go over that in a little bit when we talk about wallets. Your artwork isn't even really attached to your contract. Your artwork goes to a different place. It's decentralized and it is brought up as data whenever they want to look at it. And again, we're going to get to that. So what if someone steals your work? Well, they can't. So Marty, or you can prove who started it. Marty asks, if I put multiple of 10 NFTs on a single piece of art, can I do the Peter Lick? That is, no. Well, maybe in the future. So Peter Lick does some bullshit where he raises the price of his artwork as it sells out. And I think he's really ruined a whole generation of collectors with this false model. But if you have it in your contract that the price goes up, then that'll work, right? But also the value is going to go up, because when someone buys your work and they want to resell it, they're going to resell it for a larger price. And we'll talk about minting and getting a commission and all that stuff when I actually do a minting. So if I had to ask any of you to explain blockchain and NFTs to me at this super high level, could you do it? If you think you could at a high level, put a Y in the comments. And then I'm going to talk about, and then we can move on to the next thing. Carson says yes. If you can say no, then if not, then that's okay too. Julian, Amy. Dermot asks, so are we all going to have a digital house to decorate? Yeah, you can map your own space today. Like I can put on my Oculus and then I see everything in a digital space, and I can augment anything. So yes. And like in the future with apps like Superworld or programs like Superworld that have mapped the whole world, they've taken all the data that's out there and mapped it. They can actually, like even with National Geographic. You can walk up to a house and walk into it if it's public with a National Geographic app. So in the future, yeah, you might do that for yourself. Hemant says absolutely not. He's still kind of fuzzy about it. That's a good question about selling if you already sold physical. I was going to get to it later, but let's just hit it now. Think of the blockchain world, the metaverse, the digital world as a completely separate universe. And you can do one thing in the real world and one thing in the metaverse. So I have 12 of these. If and when I ever mint this to the blockchain, I can sell another 12 or 50 or 100 for whatever price I want. It's a completely different thing. If someone wants to buy this and buy the NFT, they're going to pay for it, whatever the cost of the NFT is and whatever the cost of this is separately, because they're two separate things. Now you can attach in your contract the physical work to the digital thing and then give them a physical thing when they buy whatever. But that's up to you. You don't have to, and a lot of the collectors don't want it. Jenny says, this tech is going to trigger a crisis for me. I'm sure it's going to trigger a crisis for people, for lots of people. Okay, so there are a lot of platforms that you can put your artwork on, right? And I'm going to bring it down so I can write you guys a list. Share screen. There it is. All right, so platforms. There's a lot of them, and I don't know them all. Okay, and there's more and more popping up every day. But let's go over a few of them, and then we'll talk about the real difference between all of them. So some of the ones that I've seen, we have Nifty Gateway, Foundation, Known Origin, however you spell origin, OpenSea, Mintable, Rarible. Any other ones you guys want to throw out there? Just for the hell of it?
ArtSync.
ArtSync, yeah. That one's
Super rare.
ArtSync, super rare. Yeah, that's good enough for now. So there are two types of platforms. I'm going to do this. There are permissionless platforms. Okay, and what permissionless platforms mean is that anyone can put their artwork on there, kind of like Fine Art America. So on Fine Art America, anyone can create an account and put artwork on there. These are permissionless. The ones that are permissionless are OpenSea, Mintable, Rarible. Okay, and then there are, the other type of platform is curated. And these are platforms that you either have to apply to or be invited to. Okay, and these are basically the rest of them. These are all curated platforms. And then there's one more thing about platform. There is, we'll use green for this. There are lazy minting, and we'll talk about minting in a second. There's lazy minting, and then there's regular minting, which that's going to be confusing. So we'll just do, and then there's a regular minting. And minting is when you actually put something on the platform. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. But lazy mints are when you do not pay for the minting up front. Okay, so those are OpenSea, and I'm mintable. So on these two platforms, you can put your artwork up and not pay the cost of processing. Because remember when we talked about, oops, I went too far. When we talked about all these computers doing the processing for you, that costs time and it costs energy. So it costs time, it costs energy, and it costs computer power, which is called hash power. Okay. And these guys get paid for doing this work, and they get paid from the fee, from the minting fee. Okay. Now on these platforms, OpenSea and Mintable, you don't actually pay for the minting until it's sold. Okay. So there's no money until it sells. And it's the buyer that actually pays the minting fee. So that's really cool because that's what's allowed so many artists to participate in this space, because you can do it for the cost of initializing your account, which again, we'll go over in a little bit. You can apply to any of these. Like I will be 100 honest, like I applied to Nifty, I'm in Foundation, I applied to Known Origin, I applied to ArtSync, I applied to Super Rare, and I've applied to others, and I haven't been accepted in any of them. So you can apply to all of them. It's actually really easy. It's usually just a Google form. It's just a Google form and sometimes a video that you have to make to represent yourself. But a lot of these platforms are small. They're small businesses, or they have a small crew, and there's thousands and thousands of artists piling in right now into so they just don't have time to get to all of the stuff, and they're going through it and they want to support everyone, but they can't. Okay. Marina says, how does the token generation work? Do we generate our own tokens on these platforms? Do you mean Marina, like generating your own art token, like for yourself, or the tokenization of your work, which is creating an NFT? That happens on the platform, but creating an artist token that other people can invest in and buy in, and that basically supports you, that's something completely different, and we're not going to talk about it today. Marty applied to, and he is still waiting. So the platforms are there, and like I said, there's a lot of platforms coming out. Okay, and this is gonna, like, it's the Wild West, guys. There's gonna be a ton of stuff coming out, and some of them are gonna win, and some of them are not gonna win. So go to where the traffic is. That's my advice. So if you want advice on where to put your work, you want to go toward the traffic. Okay. Now that comes with, that's a two-sided coin, because the traffic at one side attracts lots of artists. So there's a lot of competition. So you can take a gamble and go to a smaller platform, like a brand new platform that comes out, and so you'll stand out. But the risk is that you won't get seen by someone who's a buyer.
Click the blue Add to Chrome button, then click Add Extension to continue.
Whoever that is, can you mute yourself? Oh, is that you, Jen? No? Tamia says, down the road, is there a platform, if a platform ends and no longer working, what happens to your NFT? It's still in the blockchain. And we're going to go over that actually right now. So thank you for the segue. All right, let me pick up the gray. So let's talk about actually minting your work. Let's talk about wallets and how they work on the chain. So in order to put artwork on the chain, you need to have an address in which you are placing the artwork. So think of an address on the blockchain as your home. Okay, and you can put all of the artworks you want in your home. Okay, now when you create an address, which I spelled wrong, don't hold it against me. I have to fix it. I'll hold it against myself. The address you get is going to be a long set of numbers and letters that's unique to you. Okay, it's like many digits. that is your place for everything that you're going to work with for this home. So think of your address as your home. So when you get an address, you make an address and then you get a private key. The private key is your access to the home. So anyone can send you stuff to your address, right? Because it's a public address that people can send stuff to. As long as they have this address right here, they can send you their art, they can send you money. In this case, an address is kind of like a portfolio, and we'll go over that too. I'll see if we can make that sense. So we have your address, and then you have your private key. So when you make a place to put your money and your stuff, your private key is your only way in. Okay, so when we go back to centralized or decentralized, when you are centralized, when there's a central authority and you lose your key, you can go to the bank and verify who you are, right? And they can be like, oh yeah, you are Rebecca Tolk, and you look like her, you sound like her, and your fingerprint seems to match too. So here's the access to your bank account or your bank vault in this case. And I don't mean to scare you. What the hell is this? And I don't mean to scare you, but if you lose this key in crypto, there's no one to help you get it back. Okay, so the key is going to consist of probably 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words in a unique order that will give you access into this. I think I have 12 words, and I have ones that are 18 words, and I have ones that are 24. It just depends on which wallet you're using. So this is your address, and this is your key to your address. And like Himmat said, the address is kind of like your portfolio. So if you were to take the address that I'll show you of mine and look at it, you'll see the artwork that I have, and you'll actually see some of the super world places that I've bought, because those are all the places that go to this housing spot. All right. Now, a wallet, I need to change my color again. A wallet is your tool to access your address. And it's the tool that allows you to access the blockchain. So you load your address into this application, right? It's an application. And it allows you to interface with the blockchain. You can have another wallet. We'll color that wallet in pink because there's ladies here. And you can also access it with the same address. So if you lose your wallet, all you need to do is get another wallet and then put in your address and use your access phrase, right? I'm pointing at stuff and you guys can't even see it. All you need to do, so if you have a wallet, all you need to do is input your address and then use your access key, this thing right here, to gain access to your wallet. So your wallet is not your home. This set of numbers is your home on the internet, on the blockchain. The wallet is your way of accessing it. And this is really important because I had put my work on Rarible using a wallet called Mu Wallet. And suddenly, for whatever fucking reason, Mu no longer worked with Rarible. So I couldn't access the stuff that was on that chain of numbers. I had a chain of numbers that was my home on Rarible. I couldn't access it anymore, and I was freaking out. But what I learned was I can get a new wallet app. And so I used any of the other ones that were up. I used Wallet Connect, and I could access my same content by uploading my address into that wallet. Is everyone following this? Vincent says yes. Catherine says yes. Tatiana says yes. Okay, so how about in our chat on Facebook, Jen? You can't mute yourself because if you mute yourself, then I have to unmute you.
My son is making some noise, and then there was like a lot of fire engine stuff going on outside. But there's no other questions on Facebook, but as they come in, I'll put them in the chat just so that I'm not disrupting your flow.
Sure. Okay. Ross says, what is a hard wallet? So the wallets that I was just referring to are virtual wallets. They exist in the ether, wherever the internet stuff exists. A hard wallet is something like a USB drive. I haven't even opened this because I'm lazy, but it looks like this. And it's like a USB drive. And what it does is it takes your stuff off of the blockchain and stores it in a code on this so that nobody can get to it unless they have this. All right. So people who are very concerned about their security and their privacy, they like to have their stuff on a hard wallet. But if my house burns down or someone comes in and steals this thing, then it's gone, right? They won't be able to get access to it unless they also have my codes. But this is what a hard wallet is. And you'd want to put like your money in here if you didn't trust the exchange that you had your money on. We haven't even talked about exchanges because for the most part, for right now, we don't really need to. Himad asks, is the minting process similar to copywriting or something like that? No, because copywriting actually, you don't, well, when you copyright something, you will give them the artwork and then the copyrights. So yes, sort of. It's just more secure. It's more, it's more secure. It's when you can lose a copyright can expire. Sorry, I didn't mean to mute you just then. Shoot, I'm touching things. I just wanted to make this thing a little bigger. So you guys can still talk. I'm just going to remove the pin so I'm not a little box. So, yeah, so the copyright is something that can be changed, be lost. The lawyers can do something about it, but when you mint it, it's there forever. And I guess you could still get sued if someone copies your work. The difference is its immutability and how it's going to last forever on the blockchain. So moving on. Any more questions? Moving on. We talked about wallets and so what happens when you actually put work on the blockchain? So the blockchain can only hold at the moment 100 megabytes of data. So if you have a video or something, anything bigger than 100 megabytes, the blockchain can't support it. But what happens on Ethereum now is that when you upload your work, a hash goes on the blockchain, right? A hash is a slash of code that gets verified by all the other people that verifies you did it and whatever. And then your artwork goes into the IPFS, the Interplanetary fucking thing. What is it called? The Interplanetary, I have it right here in my notes somewhere, I think. Interplanetary file system. Yeah, if you guys haven't spent any time with me, you know that I'm just going to be like a regular person all the time. So the Interplanetary file system. And what that is a decentralized file system. So your artwork is going to be digitized on the blockchain and then spread out over all the computers. So whenever someone pulls up your artwork, all that data comes up again. And all of these different computers are going to be holding on it. And that's why people say that as long as our internet infrastructure doesn't go away, then blockchain is never going to go away. All your data is going to be manifested on all computers everywhere. And the ownership is always going to be able to be tracked back to you. So so the hash is what represents your artwork on the chain, and then your artwork goes on the IPFS. Someone asked in a question earlier that is what this is about. And I want to find it. Okay. So if you put artwork, someone asked if you put artwork into one place like Rarible, can you move it to another place? Because when it's on Rarible, it's not really there, it's in your wallet, right? And shown on Rarible, that's where you can sell it, and they're going to handle the transaction and the handshake between your wallet and the customer. Now, if it's not on auction, then yes, you can take your artwork and you can just send it to another place. So you'll be sending it to another address. So I'll send it from Rarible to OpenSea or some such, anything like that, right? But if your artwork is on auction, then the platform has to hold it because people are bidding on it. So it goes into escrow and you can't move it and you can't touch it until the auction is ended, right? So that's the difference. Like what happens when you put artwork up for sale. Is everybody good so far? I got a nod from Jen. We got some messages. Yes, yes. Would the structure format of your address vary from platform to platform? Yes and no. Like you're going to have a different address on each platform, but the way addresses are written is going to be consistent all the way through Ethereum. Can artwork be withdrawn? Yes, you can burn your artwork, but the record of your artwork is still going to be there. It's just not going to be available for anyone on blockchain. So burning is you're basically destroying it in the Ethernet, but the record of it will still exist. All right, so that's pretty much the top level. Does it affect the smart contract to move platforms? Yes. Well, no, because the smart contract is signed after the sale, right? It's signed upon the sale. And so there's no smart contract if you move between platforms. But if the buyer moves it after the contract is created, then yeah, you can lose the interoperability. The interoperability of your contract is not solid right now. And that really sucks, but it's a problem that they're working on. And what Tegan is asking, which I don't know if Tegan is a male or female name. So what they mean is she, her. What she means is that when you mint something, and we're going to do this right now, you can put a royalty on it. This is the other reason that NFT supports art really well. And I was going to get into it, but we're doing it now. So you can put a royalty attached in the contract to your art. So anytime someone sells your art in the future, you can get 10, 15, 30% of that sale forevermore. Like you could be 59 years old and something you made when you're 20 just sold again, and you get a check or you get Ethereum, okay? So at this point, I'm pretty much ready to go mint something. Are you guys ready for that? Jen says, hurry the fuck up. Anyone else? Rachel. So Marty says, it's fortunate to have sell some NFTs and the purchasers of some Ethereum into my wallet. How can I stash that out so I can buy a new lens? You're gonna have to convert it. So you're gonna need to, you'll need to go to an exchange, Marty, like Coinbase or something like that, and exchange that for money. Because I don't know if your wallet allows you to withdraw to your bank account, unless you can connect your bank account to your wallet. So yeah, some of them I don't.
Is it like dollars for dollars? Is that how?
Well, one Ethereum is worth $1,800. So if you have half an Ethereum, then you can get $900. The thing is you're going to get taxed, and you're going to get taxed as capital gains, I believe. So this is the fuzzy area. This is how I think it works. So when you get a sale, if I sold something for $10,000 in Ethereum, then that original amount is going to get taxed as anything else was. Like I would pay my sales tax to the government. Now, if I leave that in my wallet and it continues to grow, the value of Ethereum goes up, and now it's worth 15,000. The difference between 10 and 5 is going to be taxed as capital gains. So accountants the world over are going to be scratching their head for a long time, right? Julia says, I know that some NFTs are a resale commission feature. Do you know if there is a functionality to further expand that functionality in the blockchain contracts? For example, let's say royalty needs to share among, yes. Depending on the platform you're selling on, you can have royalties delivered to different people. That's why the collaboration thing is super cool. So I'm doing a collaboration with Yossi, and when we put that on the chain, when we do that, the contract will say when it sells, we get 50-50, and then we'll get 50-50 of the royalties from then on. So you can put in the contract. So if Yossi and I end up falling out, or just not talking for years, it doesn't matter because the contract is immutable and is always going to pay to the wallet. Marty says, is tax withheld, or am I on the hook to pay direct? No, tax is not withheld. Just like any sale, you can withhold the local. The buyer pays the taxes, but then you have to pay the taxes later when you file. It's trash. All right. Okay, so let me go to the proper screen, which is this one. I'm going to minimize this. I will minimize this and put this away. And I'm on the wrong screen anyway. Here it is. So I have to, all these windows are up and I have to move stuff. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so I'm gonna close this. Sorry guys, I was doing a little bit of prep work and now I'm here. Where is my window? And I will share my screen. I'm just gonna share my desktop, guys. Hopefully nothing pops up that makes you cringe. So, so this is OpenSea. And I'm not going to create another account just for the hell of it, but I'm just going to show you how it looks, and we're going to mint something. There we go. So this is what, these windows are so big. This is what the platform looks like, and this is the stuff. So I own one of a Sabat artwork. And then all of these are mine, okay? And then these two are something from Superworld, and they all are going to this address. This address right here is my wallet address that's linked to OpenSea. So if you guys were to send me a piece of artwork, it would show up here, and everyone would be able to see all of the artwork that I own. You can also have collections on OpenSea. So when you create work, this is my Aria collection. It's all 9, and I just have them here viewable. And then I also have a broader collection, which I actually don't know why it's not showing. Single items, bundles, recently viewed, browse activity, create my profile, which brings me back to here. And so this piece is in a different collection that I just call moments and things that I thought were beautiful. And that's where we're going to mint something here. So creating a profile on Mintable or OpenSea or any of them is just like creating a profile on any other website, Facebook. So you're going to have a place for your name. You can put whatever name you want. You'll have limited space for a bio, a picture, and a cover photo. That's pretty much the same on all the things. So if we go to Rarible, I'll have to log in a moment to show you that, but you should be able to just find me. So here's my Rarible profile, and on the Rarible, I can put a bit more data. And here's the 3 pieces that I have, and Rarible allows you to have followers. And so there's people who are following me. Most of it is just crap. 26 of you guys here. So what I want to do is I want to come here. Oh, and I'll show you. So this is Foundation. And Foundation looks, just like everything else. So right now my piece is on auction. So what is the difference between an auction and putting artwork up for sale regularly? Well, when you put artwork for sale, it's just like any other website that you've interacted with. This is just sitting here waiting for someone to find it and waiting for someone to buy it. But when it's on auction, its starting price is 1 ETH. And the auction doesn't start, it says it right here. The auction doesn't begin until the first person places a bid. And after that, will have 24 hours and people will bid if they are watching it, and it'll go from there. So this is super fun, in my opinion. I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm excited for someone to start this ball rolling downhill, and we'll see where it goes. But if this only goes up to 1.5 ETH, then that's all I'm going to make is that 1.5 ETH, minus 15% because Foundation, takes a 15% commission. So the reason for wanting to be on something like Foundation is that they have a bit of a better, stronger authority in the space, and that allows people to trust the artwork that's here, the buyers to trust the artwork that's here. And also you can see this platform is really nice in terms of how it's built. And there's just some crazy stuff out there. And I think we're going to talk about that later, like what kind of art should go on blockchain. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So what I want to do is I'm going to mint a piece. And I'm going to come up here. I think I need to go to my profile. Create, sorry. So I want to go to create. So go to my collections. And I'm going to create to this collection right here. So when I click in that, this is going to allow me to add a new item. Hemant asks, so do you only sell the Tree of Fire NFT on the Foundation, or do you sell it on platforms as well? Yes, this is only selling on that. I'm going to share. I'm going to share a portion. Someone asked me to make it bigger. So is this better size, guys? Catherine, am I boring you? She says, let's fucking go. Jenna says, I know, real sale commission. Do you know if there is function to, yeah, we answered that question. Is tax withheld? So do you only sell Tree of Fire? How do you determine the artwork goes to which platform? You decide, Ross, where you want to sell your work. So OpenSea is a platform, just like Rarible is a platform or whatnot. But OpenSea is also an aggregator. So OpenSea shows work that's on Rarible, that's on Mintable, and some other places too. So if you have work on Rarible, there's no way to say don't show it on OpenSea, because this OpenSea is just pulling data in. There's no way to block it. It's just an observer copying data over to here. So let's open item or add a new item. And it's going to ask me to sign into my wallet. Now, this is my balance in my wallet, and this is MetaMask. So when it comes to wallets, this is the wallet that I recommend. And you can create a MetaMask by simply going to metamask.io, and then you can download an app to your phone. And what's cool about MetaMask is you get to also interact with it on Chrome. So there's a Chrome plugin for MetaMask. Other wallets are not like that. So the reason that I couldn't sign in or didn't want to sign in to Rarible was because I'd have to take my Mu wallet, which is this one, and this code's going to come up, and then I have to show my wallet, which exists on my phone as an app, to verify the handshake. Now I'm using my phone as a video tool right now, so I didn't want to do that. So hit cancel. And then if you hit error, it's going to say something went wrong. Now, right here, we have this. This is the address of where I'm creating here. Now, I want to be able to create multiple editions. So if I hit add new item right now, what's going to happen is I am going to only be able to create a one of one, because the OpenSea platform doesn't have the surface integration for it. So instead, there's this bit of code that you can add to your address in order to create multiple editions of something. So I want to add this to my address. Where do I want to put it? I'll show you guys somewhere. It's going to go right up here. So when it says collection, cloud white, assets, create. So I'm going to go over to my thing here. So here's my OpenSea collection moments I thought were beautiful. If I click on this, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to put in this. It should say create. And then I'm going to hit add new item or enter. Crap, I did it wrong. I want to put it here. And it's going to refresh this page. So now I'm going to have the option to create a bigger supply. So I could put 5 or 12 or 100 or as many as I want. So now let's upload the artwork. So I have it right here. This is the piece. I don't know why I just opened it, but it's basically a digital painting of this thing I did. What's going on? Hold on, Zoom is being a jerk. Okay. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to drop it here, just like you would upload it anywhere. I'm going to give it a name, Old Man Marrakesh, K-E-C-H, Marrakesh. Did I spell that right? Someone looked it up for me. I'm obviously terrible at spelling. Can someone look it up? My external link, this could be a link to the website for Marrakesh for this guy or to my own website. So I'm just going to put my own website. //www.jasonmatias.com. Okay. And then description. So Marrakesh. I'm pretty sure it's 2 R's, but take your word for it for now. We'll look it up in a second because now I don't know. Oh, there's 2 R's. Sorry. Okay, Old Man Marrakesh. Description. So you're going to write your people. Okay, we need to foot stop here. There is very little different in terms of selling your artwork and finding buyers and collectors and stuff like that. In the NFT market than in the real life, right? So we have vert and then we have real. So there's very little difference between virtual world and real. You still have to know who your customer is. You still have to be able to speak to them and you still have to be able to find them. So NFT market is not a magic bullet for making money and people will just discover you. You're still going to have to do the footwork in getting it out there. So that being said, I'm going to need a description that is appropriate and will tell the story. And I actually don't have one like in my head, but let's just do it. So wandering the streets of M-A-R-R-A-K-E-C of Marrakesh is a surreal experience if you've never been exposed to so much color, so many wonderful aromas, and such a mixing pot of locals and tourists. Right? It's mostly just to smell on the colors. I saw this old man and obviously loved or fell in love with his what? With his energy, right? So I handed him a few coins and he became very animated. I wonder how hard his life had been to leave him in such a condition, yet in such high spirits. Does that sound all right? So that's the thing. I think I got it right. So now we have properties, and you can say these are kind of like tags. So we have a character and a male. So I'll just write that. Male. I don't really like this part. So it's like a photograph. Digital art, painting. Okay, that'll help people discover it. And then numerical traits that show the progress bar. If you don't have anything that fits in this, like this doesn't even apply to me. So I think this would apply to video and what have you. There's no stats for me to share. Unlockable content. So someone was asking, can someone print, or could someone print your artwork if you sell it? They probably could if you included unlockable content. Whatever you put in here is what they're going to have. So you can put your like a brochure, or you can put like a video experience. You know, I think like Kath is still in here, and she wants to add experiences to the art that they buy. So she can record a video, and that person is going to be the only person who gets this unlockable content. One thing that I thought was cool, I'm going to put my phone number. So enter content. Thank you so much for supporting my work, me and my art. I'd love to get to know you and share more about Old Man Marrakesh. What the fuck? M-A-R-R-A. Old Man Marrakesh, and my other works. Feel free to text me or call me at 808.321.8643. So that's me. So send me nudes. Oh, did I do something wrong? Feel. Thank you. Obviously, feel. Oh, thank you. If the customer decides to sell your NFT, the unlockable content will go with it. So yeah. So there we go. Gave him my phone number. Okay. Now here's where we have supply. How many do you want to mint? So you can see right here, it says that the number of copies are minted. There's no gas cost to you. And we're going to go over gas in a minute. We've actually covered it a little bit already, but I'm going to do this as an addition of 10. Okay. Like I just made that decision spur on the moment. So now it's minted. Like when this process is done, is created, now it's on the blockchain, but it's not yet for sale. So I'm going to go ahead and put it for sale. And we have a set price, right? The quantity, I can sell up to however many I just minted. So I could do 5, right? Or I could do 10. Now the price per item. I'm going to go to...
So you said that you can do 5 or 10, even though you put the quantity or the addition at 5?
Yeah, I have a supply of 10, right? I just minted 10. I have a supply of 10, and I can sell however many I want, up to 10. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just thought you had a supply of 5.
Oh no, I changed my mind and I put 10 at the last moment. So when it comes to pricing, let's go back to my collections. There's a few ways that you can do it. Like, because how much is 1 ETH worth to anybody? You know what I mean? Because 1 ETH is $1,800, but people are buying stuff for 20 ETH, 60 ETH, 100 ETH. 100 ETH is $180,000 for a digital piece of work. Now, I think in order to wrap your head around this, I think you need to internalize that Ether is its own thing. Okay, you can exchange it for something else, but Ether in this ecosystem is its own thing. So think of it as points instead of dollars. So I'm going to sell this piece for 0.5 Ether. That's going to be $900 for this digital photo in order to own it. And yeah, so I'm just thinking of it as that. Now, if we go back to my share screen, I am going to show you my pricing strategy. So here we have the Aria collection. And what I did is I just created a 3-tier pricing strategy. So I have, maybe I should do this as a doodle, but I have this piece is 0.5 ETH as an addition of 10. So I have something that's really accessible to the audience, to people who want to buy it because it's less expensive in terms of Ether. And then I have this one as an addition of 1 for 10 Ether. And then this one that's 2 Ether is an addition of 3. And then for the ones that are 1 Ether, additions of 5. So I just created a tier system based on what I value in relation to the rest of these. So I feel like this piece and this story for Love and Hate is really powerful and really personal. And I also think it's one of my best Arias, which let's see how high res you can see it here. So this one is, Hannah, I hope I'm answering your question right now. So this one is not loading, but I think that if you saw this in print or big, it's really, really good. So that one's 10 Ether. And then I don't really feel this strongly about this piece, although a lot of people feel more about it than I do. And this one, I feel like I want to get into more hands. So, oh shit, hold on, I gotta click that off. Facebook might kick off the live because I showed you a boob. Crap. So yeah, so this one is, I want more people to have it, so I priced it a little bit lower. Now, I don't think that you should price your work below 1 ETH because gas prices are still expensive. Now, what is gas? So when I mint this, or when I put this on the blockchain, someone will be able to buy this at 0.5 ETH for 0.5 ETH. But the transaction, because remember I showed you all those computers doing all the work, costs power and energy. So to pay the people who are doing the transaction, they get paid in Ether, there's going to be a gas fee. And the gas fee is dependent on how much traffic and how much load is on the highway where all these transactions are taking place. And you have to remember that these transactions are taking place on the whole world. The whole world is on Ether or on Ethereum. So there are times when it's high traffic and then there are times when there's low traffic. And I have seen or heard of prices for just the actual process of doing the thing you want to do being as high as $2,000. And then I minted my Tree of Fire for $95. And I think Matt, who was in our group, he posted that he had a $75 minting. So you can, like if this minting is well, it's not going to cost me anything in this case, but the person who buys it is going to have to pay the Ether for the minting. And I don't think that you should sell something for $100, then they have to pay $200 for gas. It just doesn't make sense. You know, price is marketing, right? How many of you guys were on the webinar? Price is marketing, and it doesn't make sense for me to buy something for 0.69 ETH and then have to pay a tenth of an Ether just for the gas. So I think 0.5 pricing is a good place to start with your bigger additions. And you can take this strategy of 1, 3, 5, 10 for half, 2, 1, and 10, and scale it. So you can, if you're a bigger artist than me, or you have something that's really super awesome that you want to sell for a lot, you can sell that for 100 Ether and then have another one that's 50 and another one that's 1. It doesn't matter. You can put whatever price you want. 100 Ether is a lot of money. So it better be something that's fucking awesome. But we'll see. I'm hoping that Tree of Fire, when it goes, that it goes. But it's a crapshoot, and I want to foot stomp that this is not a get rich quick scheme. So, okay, so back to this. Price per item, 5. Total price. So if all of these sell, I'll get 5 Ether. That's the total value. So if I change this to 1, then if all of them sell, I'll get 10. So I'm going to go 0.5 and make it accessible for a lot more people. You can schedule the drop for the future. You can keep my list. I can keep my list in private, which was what you could do if you have a private sale. Someone might contact you in the future and be like, I want this piece from your website. then you could do a private listing. Just the way, this way you could mint it for them and they could buy it, and then they can, without the risk of someone else getting it. So this is just some examples, some instructions. I'm going to post my listing. Let me double check to make. Oh, I didn't do my fees. So OpenSea gets 1%. Schedule for a future amount. Where is my royalty? Oh, that's right. The royalty is set in the collection. So in the collection level right here, when you make a collection, you give it a picture, you give it a title and whatnot, and then everything in my Aria collection is 10%. Ross, you won't know the gas fee until you mint it. But then again, on OpenSea, there's no minting. You're not actually minting. This is just going to live on the regular internet. And once it is minted, it'll go onto blockchain and the buyer will pay the minting. There's also resources where you can, there's also resources that you can go and see a chart of what the gas prices is right now. Normally, I just go over and I try to, like I was trying to sell some real estate in Superworld. Like I was trying to sell a piece right here, and I'd be like, that's not me. But I'd hit sell, and then the gas price would be too high, and I would say, fuck it. And then I'll just come back later and try again. So you can set your commission right here, percentage fee. And yeah, you could change it, Kath. But what would happen is everything that is already sold is going to get minted with this commission fee. And then the stuff in the future, when it gets minted, will get minted with whatever commission fee you have. So my collection for this is set to, right, Timeo says, yeah, on this collection, the gas impacts the buyer, not the seller. On this one, I have it set to URL, commission, I have it set to 10% also. And this is my wallet address where all the payments will go. Okay, you can also change the way it looks. So going back to this, it's already set to 10%. I'm going to post it. It's going to ask me to sign. So this handshake right here that happens with your address is your verification that things happen. Okay, so this is how you know that, or the blockchain verifies that you are actually doing this thing. So you sign it, and boom, it's up. So, and it shows me it has unlockable content. And then how do I market this? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back to here just because I want to make sure that address seems super long. So I'm going to click the share, copy link. And what I do is I have a little thing set here, little graphic thing, NFT drop. It's not letting me click it, hold on. There we go. So NFT drop, hashtag old man AR. So gas, Marina, is, I can't talk and think or write and think. So gas is the cost of operating this business. So what happens is when, let me switch. I don't know if I need to draw this out or not. What happens is when you put something on blockchain, all of that verification that we talked about is done by computers, and they charge a fee for doing that. That's how Ethereum is made and mined. So the fee depends on how much traffic is on the website. So let me think of it this way. Let me think. There's only so many people doing all this mining or all this verification process, right? There's a limited supply of people with computers and computer power who are doing it. So when they get overloaded, they get more demand. So think of it like Uber. So when Uber is in high demand, like rush hour, the price goes up. Same thing with gas. Hey, this is a look inside my head if anyone ever wanted to get. So this is Old Man Marrakesh by me. I don't really think I need to do that because you only have so many characters. Walking the streets of Marrakesh. I met a beggar who thought he owned the world. He was really, really uppity. Maybe it was just because I was giving him stuff. Is that not how you spell beggar? And then these are the hashtags I use. So then I'm going to place this right here. And then I'm going to tweet it. And this is basically where the marketing is. Oh, fuck. I'm always doing shit like that. Thanks, Himat. And then this I will tweet in a little bit. I'll tweet it after because there's some other tags for my friends that I want to put on there. And we'll talk about marketing it, I guess, right now. So this already exists on the blockchain. So right now it's $923 to own this digital painting of this thing. Oh, I see. I need an editor. Thanks. I met a beggar who thought he owned the world. All right. Thank you, sir. Hey, Jen, how's the comments going?
No additional comments. Teresa said that she'll tune in ATM. Maybe that means in the morning.
I don't know what that means either. Right. So I'm gonna do that, and I think the next thing on the agenda for explaining this whole process is marketing yourself and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna unmute everybody. Okay. And what I want you to do is I want you to use I'm going to talk about marketing, and I want you to use the chat box. And if you have a question that I want to bring you on stage for, then I'll bring you up. Please don't try to talk over each other. Keep yourself muted during this time until you have something to say. So I have to find the button.
Can you paste that tweet in the group?
Can I do it?
Like those hashtags?
Yeah, I can put it in the members group, or I'll put it in the masterclass group. I'll share the tweet into the thing. So I open up participants, and then I'm going to ask to unmute all. So I'm going to allow everyone to unmute themselves if they have something to say, and we can get into Q&A and stuff like that. Now, so marketing yourself is basically, just like I said, just like marketing everyone else. So just like marketing everywhere else. And how many people, by show of hands, if you're on video, just raise your hand because I can see you all right now. How many people were on the webinar? Right. So we talked a little bit about marketing yourselves and finding your person and whatnot. It's not a whole lot different here. So instead of using Facebook and like Pinterest and stuff like that, because the audience, the general population of everyone doesn't know about NFTs yet, most of the action is taking place on Clubhouse and it's taking place on Twitter. So that's where you're going to share your stuff, and you're going to do a lot of interacting. Self-promotion in this space is really about adding value to the conversation. So, and then and doing value add hand raises. If anyone's been on Clubhouse, you know that there's some people who just stand up and they're like, hey, blah, 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 blah. And they talk over people, and there's a conversation happening on stage about a topic, but then they're just talking about themselves. And that's really shitty. But again, it's also really difficult to shoot your shot on a platform where people are talking. So there are rooms that are just about talking about yourself. So when you go up on stage, you can talk about your work, and you know, a lot of people have this really disingenuous approach to being genuous. Like everyone's, they're so thankful and I thank you for being on stage, and I love everybody's work and blah, blah, blah. And I don't believe any of it. I don't know if anyone does. So just go be yourself on stage and keep it real. Okay, that's what I've been doing, and my Twitter audience has grown, doubled in the last 2 weeks. Just and yeah, it's a lot easier for me to. It might be easier for me to make conversations, but like I said in the webinar, if you have 30 stories, you can jump into anything that you want. And I think I keep moving my hands like Bernie Sanders, and I need to stop. There's also Facebook. So for Artist Selling Art members, I've already created a Facebook advertising audience so that we can start talking about our NFTs to the right people on Facebook. And you guys can go do this yourself if you know how. But I'm going to use that audience because the people on Twitter are also on Facebook. We just have to find them. Here's the other thing about those rooms when you get to talk to the thing. When you're talking about your work, you're talking to your peers for the most part. You're just talking to other artists on stage or the host and who's doing it, who's probably another artist too and has something to shill on their own. The buyers are just sitting there listening. They're looking for the next person who's going to have some value to add, and that's it. So you have to go up and have a candid conversation with your peers, and you're shooting your shot in a room, and hopefully someone likes your stuff. Now, we run a room. When I say we, I mean Mike Rutledge runs a room, who's a friend of mine. That's a really great room for featuring artists. That's where I was last night. And then I spoke for 3.5 hours about my work, and it was really, really cool. Rooms like that are really good. You guys will find rooms that suck and rooms that are really good. If you can't get on Clubhouse, then it's going to be Twitter for now until another space opens up. And of course, you can share your stuff on Facebook. But again, just be genuine and tell people and educate people. You are the very tip of the sword for this whole NFT market. So like 1% of the potential artists and 1% of the potential collectors have entered this space. So right now you're setting up your provenance, you're putting your work online for it to be discovered. And you just have to work on remaining discoverable, which is getting your voice out there and doing the marketing and curating your portfolio. The other thing that I want to foot stomp here is that this is a parallel world that's growing, but the real world for selling art hasn't changed. Okay? You guys still, if you want to sell art, you still have the real world to sell. And I don't want you to just focus on this space, which isn't mature, which has a bunch of shit in it, which has a bunch of noise, and not focus on the place where you could already be selling your stuff. You know, like someone was saying, I made a comment in the members only group, they were talking about gas fees and blah, blah, blah. And I just think it's really funny that our members have no problem spending money on gas when they will not spend money on Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever. So consider that. Kylie asked, I joined last night and I felt it was informative and overall NFT. Yeah, Kyle, if you were on our chat, on my room, then yeah, it was a really well-run room, and it was really cool. There are rooms that suck. Do you think it makes sense to inform potential buyers where the money is going to? No, I think that's another load of bullshit. You know, when people buy my work, I don't say, hey, I'm going to spend $11 on groceries and I'm going to go to McDonald's 5 times in the next month, and then I'm going to recycle my stuff. So I'm going to pay $25 to the dump when I go drop all my stuff off. No one cares. I really don't think anyone cares. Unless you are actually managing some sort of initiative, then it doesn't matter. But if you feel like blowing hot air into the world, you can be like, I'm going to spend some money in investing in new artists. A lot of the collectors in this space are artists who have sold their work and are recycling that money into buying stuff of their own. Because most artists can't afford art, right? Like, I mean, for a long time, I couldn't afford my own work, right? So now they're getting money and they're spending money on artists. And that's totally cool. I don't think it's going to incentivize anyone to spend the money. Just like I don't feel like when people say they're donating to charity, when they for the 10% of my sales are going to this charity, as an art collector, I don't care. I like the work and I'm willing to pay you for the work. What you do with your money is up to you. I don't think any other art collector is going to be like, oh, he's giving money to charity. Let me give him all of this money so he can give 10% of it away. You know, why am I supporting you? Anyway, I got a little mean just then. So if you have a question, go ahead and like unmute yourself and let me know. I don't really have all that much else to share about this from the upper levels. marketing is just relationship building and developing a thing. Yes, Julius, there was no cost. So it's going to cost you money to create an OpenSea account, the initialization. Yeah, so that's the only time you're going to incur a fee on OpenSea. Kyle says that there is the energetic reciprocity short. I think I can give positive energy and be a helpful person who adds value to the community without shilling myself as someone who's going to donate to 1,000 charities and support all these other people. So it just depends on how you want to do it, guys. That's all. It's all about how you want to curate your voice in the world. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on anything so far? Either I'm a really good teacher or you guys are just tired of me already. So let's, does it, where are we going to find this recording? This recording is going to be in the Facebook group for the next 5 days. Art of Selling Art is open on Monday. If you guys want to join the wait list, look in the Facebook group or in the comments. There's a link to the landing page. You can join the wait list. If you were on the webinars, you're going to get a bunch of emails, but the bonus is only going to the first 50 new members. So this live is going to be on the Facebook wall for the rest of the life of the group. And then I might upload it to YouTube after that. But right now it's just for the people who are signed up for this. Ross is a member and he's a cool dude. So yeah, the wait list, everyone who's on the wait list is going to get the first email, and then everyone else is going to get some good value. So if you guys haven't got any of my emails, you can check your spam. Tatiana says you didn't mention Instagram as a good platform. I don't think it is. Because the collectors aren't there. So if you spend all your time, if you're spending all that effort for the NFT stuff on Instagram, then I think you might be spinning your wheels in sand for a little bit. And also, you're going to be reposting a lot of your stuff from your portfolio onto the blockchain, which will require you to repost it on Instagram if you want to market there. And you have a finite amount of social capital, or the amount of attention people are willing to give you. And if you start boring them with repeat stuff, then you're going to start hurting that audience.
Would it be beneficial to do a Facebook ad for NFT drops?
Yeah, I'm going to do them for sure. You know, so I made that audience guy, right? And I put it in our group, I think. And I'm going to use it. So you can wait if you want for me to beta test if I get any reaction from it. Or you guys can just take it and run. It's up to you. Kath agrees about Instagram isn't the best. Are there things you don't recommend doing when making collections, minting images, etc.? Scarcity seems to be a tool. So how some people photo dump on their websites hoping to sell something. Yeah, so okay, here's the thing. Buyer, what is that called? Paralysis. When you give people too many choices, Kath, I'll keep you updated in the members group. When you give people too many choices, they can't make one, and they don't, or they won't. So on one side of the argument, I don't want to put everything out all at once. On the other side of the argument, I want to show people the range of my work so that they can buy, right? So I can attract a buyer. So you have to just, you just have to decide what you want. I don't think you should dump everything because you can't talk about everything all at once. You can dump a collection and talk about the collection, which is what I did with the arias. I talked about, there's 9 of them. I talked about one every day for 9 days, and then I will repost the collection with, different content every time. So yeah. I put Tree of Fire, good question. Himad asked, why did I put Tree of Fire on Foundation and Old Man Marrakesh on OpenSea? Now, I think Foundation is a stronger platform with more collectors and more space for discovery and success. Okay, so So there's that. And then OpenSea. But you want to have stuff in a few places so that people can discover you and find things in other places. So I have stuff on Variable, OpenSea, and now on Foundation. If I get into known origin, then I will put stuff on known origin. Yeah. KW, we just talked about it. The audience isn't there. People are not fully aware of NFTs, and you're going to be you're not talking to, you have to go to where the audience is. It's what we talked about in the webinar, right? You have to find your audience. Where do they go? And that's where you go speak. And Instagram is not the place right now, but it might be in the future. So right now I'm not spending a lot of time doing that. You mentioned earlier that you would give some direction on what type of art to offer. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, just NFTs. Kent, I think your name is Kent. Yeah, the real world stuff, you still have to market, guys. That world's not gone, and it's going to support you more than the NFT market until the NFT market discovers you. So there is a digital aspect to digital art. Like right now, the space is really focused on the digital stuff, the animations, the worlds that you can experience and stuff like that. Super imaginative things. That's who's there and that's who's buying. So if you can do that, if you can adapt your work to live in this new universe, then that's awesome. Like I have a drop coming out, or not, I have a collaboration coming out with an animator who's going to animate one of my pieces, and then we're going to split it 50-50. And I think that the audience will like it. So it's still my work, still my vision, still my story. I'm just changing the presentation a little bit. But I do think the traditional collectors will show up too. They're going to come. It's just going to take time to onboard them. Just like 10 years ago, no one would buy Bitcoin because they thought it was dumb. Well, we're right there with NFTs too.
So for the animations, are you uploading just an animated GIF, or are you uploading like an MP4 or like a video file?
Depends on what you're doing. If you make a video, you're going to upload an MOV or an MP4. GIF files, people are doing that too. Is there a minimum resolution for an NFT? Not that I know of, but more quality is more quality. So I'm uploading like 20, 30 megabyte photos, but so they can look at it. So if they end up with a display, like a TV display, I want my NFT or my Tree of Fire I loaded was a 40 megabyte JPEG. I want it to be able to blow up onto their TV. If they are doing a, oh, is Swan, oh, Swan fell asleep. So yeah, that's that question. Sorry, I got distracted. You just want to upload a quality file. That's the only thing. Could you please elaborate on owning the property part, such as Seattle Ferris wheel? No, like, so there's a world built. There's a world mapped equaling that's one for one for the world that we live in now. And the real estate is divided into blocks, and you can purchase those blocks. So I purchased the Seattle thing. I purchased beachfront in Waikiki because the monetization of those spaces happens two ways. For Superworld, it happens two ways. One is you can sell the property to someone else, because right now the property is super cheap, just like the regular real estate principles. Or two, you can monetize the amount of digital activity that happens in your space. So when Superworld, if it becomes a successful thing and people are spending time in Superworld on your block, then you're going to get paid for that. So that's why I'm going to be buying up super high traffic areas as I get money. Okay, so these are coming fast. Can you elaborate? Yeah. So how about the bids? Like the ones are on Foundation homepage. Who decides to set those? You decide your price. So I could have set the bid for Tree of Fire at 10 Ether. But what I wanted to do from a marketing standpoint is I wanted people to be able to put a lot of bids in so that the algorithm or whatever it is notices a lot of action on one item, on my item, so it could bring it to the front and then therefore get even more attention. So I started the bid low. It might bite me in the ass though. I might end up selling it for 1.25 ETH, and then this one amazing piece of my work, integral part of my collections, will just be out there. But if you do the math on the royalties, if you sold something for $50 and you get a 10% royalty, when they resell it, you get $5, right? If you sell something for $1 and then someone resells it for $2, $3, $4, all the way up to 50, you make a significant more money than just the one $5 royalty. So that's kind of the math behind that too. And I think people can bid in 0.1 Ether increments. How do I feel about minting single NFTs is better than multiple? I don't know. Again, it depends on how you value the work and who you kind of think will be interested in buying it. So a one of one is obviously going to be more valuable, so you could put a higher price tag on it with lesser question. Himant says he's confused that the idea of selling a pic as an NFT as well as... So the NFT and the physical world are completely different. They don't exist together. They exist side by side. So you can sell this and sell the NFT. They're two different things. The one is an NFT and one is a physical print. They're two different things. And right now, the general consensus is that the NFT market supply doesn't affect the value of the physical world supply. And that was cool. I didn't even know you could do thumbs up. Kent is confused that why is Facebook okay? Because I can target people on Facebook, right? So I'm not just going to put my NFT content onto my Facebook or my Instagram feed for all of my Instagram followers, because all of my Instagram followers have already seen this content and I don't want to start spamming them and losing their attention by reposting stuff as I put it on there. So I'm not going to go to my current audience and yell from the rooftop, NFT, 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 because it's going to exhaust them. But with ads, I will be reaching a new audience who is specifically about NFTs, who hopefully is interested in that sort of thing. Kyle says, I found that OpenSea has a section tracking all of the platforms, categories, filter, blah, blah, and shows that there are now thousands of platforms, as much as 1,000 platforms are generating some kind of ETH trading. Okay, so what he's saying is that Rarible has the most amount of value in artwork in terms of the prices there, and that there's hundreds and maybe even thousands. When you say ETH generating trading, Ethereum exists in a realm well far and well beyond the NFT world. So that's all happening out there. Tatiana says, you briefly commented on selling a physical piece. If I'm trying to mint a physical piece of mixed media art, can you... Oh, well, you need to get it digitized. So you can do that through photogrammy or photography and have a picture of your work taken, or scan it if it's small, and then upload that JPEG as that'll be the NFT. And then the JPEG will be the thing that they can put on their wall or on the device they can look at. So you have to go through the process of taking it and putting it into the NFT space. But all of you can do it. You can even, if you are a sculptor, I don't know if anyone here does three-dimensional art, but one of my artists who's a one-on-one mentorship with me, she doesn't do the Facebook stuff. We're putting her stuff on a thing that spins, filming the spinning, and that'll be the NFT. So there's a lot of ways to do it.
There was an individual in the group that posted about that made the $20,000 NFT.
Yeah, Kate.
Kate, I think I'm confused as to how she did that. If You're selling, how many NFTs did she sell the piece for? For one?
Yeah, so she put it just like I did for a bidding on Foundation, and the bidding started and it ran all the way up to 20 Ether. I mean, once the bidding started, whoever's paying attention, it could really, really go. So I'm harboring a false dream of my Tree of Fire selling for like 50 Ether. But I'll be happy with anything above 5. Is NFT currently exclusive to Ethereum? So Polkadot is another blockchain that's actually has cheaper gas fees and is faster than the NFT than Ethereum. But Ethereum is going to be coming up to some improvements. Web 2.0 is coming for them. So they should be going from their current process of, how do I say it? They're going from this thing called proof of work, which is all of those people who are verifying the transactions. They go through a process called proof of work. There's something coming called proof of stake, which will be faster and cheaper. So they're going to be competing. So the ones I know of are Polkadot, Ethereum, Cardano, and Cardano's number 3 in the world. Ethereum's number 2 in the world for market cap. So I expect some really amazing things coming from Cardano, and I hope to be able to jump into some of the first galleries that show up on that space, because I'm heavily invested in Cardano, so I want to see their success.
Dermot has a question.
Sure. Dermot says, can you just pull your ETF out, your ETH out easily and have real money? Yeah, so you can actually exchange your ETF in PayPal. PayPal has a your Ethereum. PayPal has is integrating to blockchain, so you have your money in your address, right, that you access to your wallet, and then you have an exchange. So you have to exchange your money just like if you had foreign currency to dollars and whatever the exchange rate is. So then you'll have to send it to your bank in order to spend it. Good luck. Yeah, I think it's an SEO tool. Oh no, that's actually okay. So the Instagram is one, and then the thing, oh, it's a data scraper. So it's a technical thing I use to get data from websites. Super good tool if you know how to use it. Inside the Art of Selling Art, actually, we talk about it a little bit, I think, but mostly I use it for getting data to sell my book. So I can go to a book website or whatever, like a big aggregate book website, and I could pull up all the books that are like mine, and then I can use that data scraper to pull all of their data out and find their keywords and the categories that all those books marketing, and then I can use those categories to add them to my book on Amazon, the categories and the keywords for my Amazon ads. So now that I've just blown your guys' mind with more shit that you don't need to know, Julia says, yeah, I watched Ready Player One and then I read Ready Player Two. And that's one vision of the future that could be true. In terms of art, man, I think about like Harry Potter, you know, like with those artworks on the wall that were like living and moving. Yeah, Ross says, did you say you have to be accepted as an artist on Foundation? Someone needs to give you a referral. So when I sell Tree of Fire, I'll have one invitation to give to someone. So that's how you get in.
It's like Clubhouse.
What about Clubhouse?
I said the referrals, like Clubhouse, you have to be invited in.
And Clubhouse did it right, because what they basically did is created a system in which that kept out the riffraff and keeps out the spam, and the bots and stuff like that, because no one's inviting a bot in. Himant says he has a target audience in mind, and he feel that they'd rather go for physical prints. You're going to have two different markets. So I've been introducing the NFT market to my collectors, And some of them are excited about it. Some of them don't want to deal with it. And I'm going to have to educate them. But it's going to be two separate things. Like I'm not going to talk about NFT and physical prints in my ads at the same time. And NFT is not going to live on my website. I don't think I'm going to talk about NFT on my website because it's just another option and there's not enough people who know about it and I don't want to clutter the space. So everything you do, you now have double the work. If you want to live in the NFT world, you now have double the work. You have to sell your work and you in the physical world, which is all the stuff that we talked about. And then you have to sell the work again in the NFT world, which is again, all the stuff we just talked about. So time to hire a virtual assistant for me anyway. It sounds like you guys are winding down. How do the Facebook comments look? No, Hamad, I love all your questions because otherwise I just stare here looking at my screen like a weirdo. What do people do with NFTs? Like once I buy one, what do I do with it? So basically it's something that you own. So I could have a screen display that could show my NFT, or I can, if it's an augmented NFT, an augmented reality, I could put on my Oculus headset or use my phone and just interact with stuff digitally. But it's yours and you're the only one who has it, or you're one of 10. So for my work, which is more traditional, it's just going to be a static thing that they could put up and own a piece of the story. Okay.
That's the end of the Facebook questions.
All right. Well, that was cool. That was like 2 hours. Elias says, when selling in both worlds, do you have to deal with issues if you sell the NFT and keep selling the same print? There's no issues. There shouldn't be any issues. It's two separate things, guys. Like up to this point, I've avoided saying that you can sell the physical print on NFT market. You would just put it in the contract that that person will get the physical print. But because they can resell it, the contract doesn't say anything about the next person getting that same print. You know, can you imagine your collector boxing up this 6-foot piece because they sold their NFT and they have to ship it now? I can't. So they just don't exist. Yeah, but they can't own it and they can't support you for it. And they can't take it off the website and put it in their home in their digital display. Or at least they shouldn't be able to. In the future, when artists are all putting their stuff on blockchain, everything that people have will be trackable. So if you put a piece on blockchain and someone tries to share it in the future, it's going to be a record of it being shared. Let's say you sell 10 on Foundation. Let's say you sell 10 on Foundation. After that, you sell 10 on OpenSea. You shouldn't sell the same work twice, guys. It's just a principle of being an artist. That would violate the contract that you had with people. When you sell a 1 of 10, they bought something that is stated as 1 of 10. And then when you do it again, it's not good. It's just not good practice. Do you think that it's unfair to the Foundation buyers? No, I don't. Because anyone can go on Foundation and buy. You don't have to be invited to be on Foundation as a buyer. That's like saying if you sell something in a gallery down the street, but is it unfair that you didn't also show it in another gallery across the street? Same thing. Yeah, Dan says this is going to take work and dedication, and he's right. It is. It's going to take a lot of work. There's tens of thousands of artists putting work online every day, and the competition is real. The competition for attention is real, and finding collectors and stuff like that. This is not a get rich quick, you know. And if my ice cave sells for 5 Ether, that's someone do the math for me. It's like 10 grand, right? That's what I sell an ice cave, a tree of fire for anyway in the real world. So it doesn't make, it's not any different. I'm losing my voice. Thank you for sharing next step for me and to sets. You're welcome, Marty. If you guys want to join the Art of Selling Art, doors open on Monday, join the wait list, and keep a look at your emails, guys. because I'm going to send out some good thoughts over the next few days. Tamia's going away. Carson, you're welcome. Okay, guys, I'm going to bounce and sleep, I think, because I'm done. I'm very done. But do me a favor, actually, everybody who's here live, go to the Facebook post about this, put a comment, throw an emoji in, throw a picture or a thing, because other people in the group will be notified of it, and it will be more obvious to them. Otherwise, the algorithm buries it as it does all long form content. Okay, guys, good night.